I don't want to engage in a blame game. Because it's not going to help us in any way. But the information we have is the challenge is that these locusts originate from areas where there is war. And usually the control is concerted effort regionally. There is no single country that can control them. And therefore, because of the problems in Somalia and the problems in Yemen, the usual controls that are done regionally coordinated were not able to control because of that. And therefore, we have this emergency. What we are doing is to make sure that the frontline counties, because they could still come. I mean, it's not like what the swamps that are there, we couldn't have other swamps coming from those places because there's nobody in charge in some of those war zones. So that's why increasing our capacity in the frontline counties to make sure that we are able to contain the situation. And we are told largely in the next, we have to be vigilant the next 4 months or so. And then we will be sure that there is no emergency ahead. So I think the most important thing is to look forward and sort out the problem instead of engaging in a blame game in terms of who shares what blame. That's not for me to judge. Yes. But I think there has been quite some, looking at the report they have given me, the team here, they have done quite some work. The situation could have been worse. This team here has done a very good job, but you can see we have enhanced 4 aircrafts for surveillance, 4 aircrafts additional for spraying, additional teams for trained in the counties. So it's almost like doubling. You ask me, it's actually doubling. Maybe even tripling the capacity, because it was largely private sector. Those farms that are in the aircraft spraying, we are now handing additional ones to do spray 4 additional ones, 4 additional surveillance aircrafts right away being deployed. You can be sure we will contain the situation. Yes, the other issues I would also probably go into them unless there is a question on this particular matter, then we can go to answer his question on those other issues. Yes.
On the Locust.
Yes.
And we're talking about containing the situation. Is it possible to completely stop the movement of these locusts, like you see in the
when we are saying containing is simply because the swarms are there, you spray them, they die. You kill them. It means you have contained. So like the 7 swarms were contained. It is technical language. It's basically spraying them and clearing them, and then they die. So 7 swarms were cleared. They are no longer there, not posing any menace. Of course, when they are dying, a few of them would go there. But when they are not in swarms, they are largely contained. It's nothing, that's what we are calling containing. 7 swarms contained, cleared in those areas. But you see, they could come from, from those countries again, and therefore that's why there are those surveillance teams still continuing, county teams being trained. And then what we are dealing with are 5 swarms, and already we got some report on one of them that has been sprayed that they are already dying. You need to share that clip with them to show the effect of the work we are doing.
Waziri, from a technical expert, is it possible to have, with the efforts that you have put in, 8 aircrafts in total, the money and the spray and all that, is it possible to give a duration within a certain period the menace will have been contained, from the technical side?
Yes, we would want Joker to respond to that. But we are saying, what you say, giving a timeline is, we are not in control in what is happening in Eritrea, Somalia, so there are swarms there that could come. So the only thing you can maybe report to you is the swarms that are already in the country, those 5 swarms, what can be done to those ones. But swarms coming again, since you have no control there to contain them where they are, you have to wait them in the front line and deal with them. So that's why we are saying to give you certainty in terms of dealing with it completely is because of lack of control in those places. But Joka can respond to that. Any other technical question that Joka can respond to?
Do you have any concerted effort from neighboring countries where these locusts are coming from?
Yes, indeed. Even there is an aircraft that is on the way from Zambia. Because we are part of these organizations and resources are deployed regionally. There is an aircraft on the way which has been cleared. It's actually being cleared in Tanzania to cross over to join, to be part of the equipment that is helping us deal with the menace. The resources has also been given by FAO. Those are all regional, because these institutions, Kenyans are part of that. Kenya is part of that bilateral agreements on dealing with these regional challenges that are not country specific. But Joka would probably respond better in terms of the details. You can proceed, Joka, right away. Any other technical question you can ask him to add on to what we have said.
Thank you, Minister, and welcome to the ministry, and congratulations, sir. As the Minister is saying, which is very well put, we are part of the global family. The locust invasion here is being handled by all of us in the region. For desert locust control, we are 9 countries. And I listed this the other day, from Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. And in all these countries, we are all alert and we have deployed. For now, our biggest threat is coming from Somalia. I was in Somalia about a month ago, and as the minister says, there are challenges in security, so nobody has gone in to control them there. But in Ethiopia, DLCU, the Desert Locust Control Organization, we have 2 aircrafts which are functioning there, and the Ethiopia government has also hired private aircrafts to complement that. In Kenya here, we have 2 aircrafts from the organization, and additionally from our sister organization, the International Red Locust Control Organization, based in Dora, Zambia. They are bringing in a helicopter, a chopper, which will also help us in surveillance, because we are part of the global family. In terms of what I do,
the duration, the efforts you are putting at what time, within what duration do you expect?
Okay, we've been on board now for the last 2 weeks. This the locusts came in about just after Christmas, 28th. We anticipate that in the next 4 months we'll be in the field doing survey and control. And at the end of the 4 months, we should have covered most of that ground. The only thing biologically to say here is these insects do lay eggs, and if they lay eggs, the hatching will come. For now, the locusts which we are seeing are called immature stages. When they mature, they will lay eggs, and those eggs can hatch into larvae, which we call nymphs, and the nymphs can then attack again. So, Minister, we have to be alert for the next 4 months, and I think we are able to do that given the support we are getting from government, from FAO, and the regional organizations.
Question about that. Are we saying that the farmers in these affected counties now they cannot go down and plant anything because you can expect anything from the neighboring countries?
No. The farmers should go on with their normal practices. Don't be alarmist. The farmers can go on with their normal practices. These insects sometimes, they follow the weed. You may see them tomorrow here. They are blown by the weed and go to another country. They fly about 100 to 150 kilometers per hour. But please, the farmers, go on with your activities. Once we put the control activities which are here, we are sure we will win this war.
Question. How safe the chemicals to the vegetation and
the pesticides we are using are registered, and I have Peter Opio here and David Mwangi. They're registered with us, the Pest Control Products Board. We have evaluated them. They are safe, and they have no effect on the pesticides and on non-target pests. They are safe. Actually, and we said here last time, these insects can also be used as food. Hikasi kidogo, just give us buses to pereke huko, 20 buses and we will do it. Of course, he was joking, because and I was telling the minister this morning, these insects are in millions. One swarm can have 40 million insects. So when you hear of 7, 48, 10 swarms, there are a lot of insects, and surely you cannot finish these insects by eating them. So give us a chance. Give us a chance to control them, and more importantly, do not eat those insects after they are sprayed. If you want to catch them, and I know there are communities who are very fond of them, no names mentioned here, those communities, please do not eat them after they are sprayed. It's a biological control also. Thank you.
To me,
To Waziri.
you are finished technical questions? Very well.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I largely really would want you to help us deal with the disinformation and the panic that is being generated, and largely because of lack of knowledge and information on what is happening. So if you can help us, we'll be very happy, because we can see also people taking pictures of grasshoppers and sending them and saying now locusts are here. You know, I mean, if they are in swarms, you can't have a few insects on one tree and say these are locusts, unless they have been already demobilized and sprayed, and therefore they are dying, and a few of them are remaining there. So I think containing, helping us make people not to panic, farmers to continue with their farming activities as the government deals with the problem will really help the country settle down. Tuwezi kuambia Wakenya wasipige picha. Kenyans are very robust, and they are also very active. So, but we are telling you that scientific responses to the problem is being enhanced to deal with the situation.
So
but
be confirming what insects they are. You know, you ask Kenyans to take pictures so that you confirm if they are truly locusts. And desert locusts.
We have counted teams on the ground who can help us and who are helping. They are trained to help in you know, providing the information.
Kenya stop taking pictures.
No. We can't control. We can't control what Kenyans want to do. I received one just a little while from a place in Tigania West of one insect. I'm being asked what it is. I'm sure it's not a locust, because it will not be alone one insect on a tree. Somebody has sent it. So,
Waziri,
yes.
Kutokana na ripoti ya jana ya rais na mabadiliko ambayo alifanya, kuna fedha ambazo zilitolewa kwa miradi kadhaa, hasa mradi wa maziwa, mradi wa chai, kuna milioni 575 ambazo zilitolewa. Swali langu ni, je, kuna hizi fedha ambazo zitatolewa hivi sasa na tunasubiri wiki kama ngapi hivi kupata zile pesa? Kuna zile pesa kwenye treasury, na kama utaweza baadaye ukishamaliza utatupa na lugha ya nyumbani kuposa wale.
Yes, indeed. Ni kweli kuna fedha ambazo zimetengwa na serikali kuhudumia sekta ya maziwa na kuhakikisha changamoto zile ziko katika hizo sekta. Hiyo sekta imedhibitiwa, na kwa sasa kwa sababu ya hizo fedha naamuru shirika la New KCC kupandisha bei ya maziwa saa hii, waanze kununulia wakulima kwa shilingi 33. So I'm that 3 shillings. I'm asking the MD of New KCC, is he here? He should be here. He's supposed to be here, and we have already agreed. I've already asked him to enhance the prices immediately to that 3 shillings. So farmers now, I want to announce that, following the President's directive and intervention, we are enhancing prices for milk from the current low of 25, 27 to that 3 shillings. And moving forward, as we do the other interventions, the prices will even improve even further. And I think that is going to help farmers, that new pricing. We looked at it because we will be mopping up excess milk and processing to powder milk and putting it into the strategic food reserve. That will help stabilize the prices and improve the earning of farmers. So for now, really, that's the most important information that farmers need to know, that they can go to KCC, new KCC, depots and sell their milk for that 3 shillings per litre. Yes. Now, for KCC, I wanted you also to know that part of the money was to mop up the excess milk, and also part of the money was to complete some plants that were in different stages of completion, because we were increasing capacity also in Nyahururu. We have directed the new KCC to immediately move to buy the equipment and the refurbishment that is required for Nyahururu, so that work can be completed. We were also to complete a facility in Kiganjo. All that is intended to expand the capacity of new KCC to purchase and process milk for farmers.
Waziri, why 33 and not 35? What rationale have you applied so that they can increase to 35, to 33, not 35, or even 40?
Yes, 33, we have looked at the resources that have been availed and the quantities that we can process within the current capacity. In another few weeks, again, we could raise it to 35, but we think we can absorb that price increase at this particular point. We have a projection that has been given to me that indicates that, and it's here. So it's looking at the processing capacity and the ability to absorb.
It's per litre. It's price per litre.
It's per litre. It's per litre, isn't it? Yeah, it's per litre, that's 3 shillings. That's a great improvement. That's a great improvement.
Just a continuation of this.
Yes.
Yesterday also the president talked about coffee, and he gave a few directives about revamping the agency. One is about the 3 billion shilling fund, revolving fund.
Yes.
And also implementing the $5 million recommendation of the tax force. Just share with us, what are your plans? Because already there is a new organization, UKPCU, and there are regulations to administer the same fund, the 3 billion. Have you concluded the public participation? Have you started the public participation? So
yes.
Clarify to us, where are you and what are you telling me?
Yes, indeed, there is that new organization that is called New KPCU, which is a successor to the old KPCU that is under liquidation. We have already put in place a board of directors. So the institution has been operationalized, and the decision was made that this institution will be the one that will be running this Sherry Advance Fund. It will be domiciled in New KPCU. We have already opened accounts. In fact, what we have been waiting for was for a checker to release that money into the accounts of New KPCU. That process has been already done. The department had finished its work. We are just waiting for Treasury to release this money, and I think it could be released anytime. Even as we speak, probably, it has already been released. We are also putting in place a payment platform, ICT, in conjunction with New KPCU and the Department of Cooperatives, is working on an ICT solution that is going to pay farmers this money once they have delivered their cherry to the factory. Once we know how much the quantities of coffee you have delivered, then you'll be able to be paid directly. We don't want to use any intermediary in terms of paying the farmer, because that has been the challenge, even with what is called the commodity fund that has been running in this ministry, where you use intermediaries, sometimes the money doesn't reach, and even when it reaches, the repayment back, because it's a revolving fund, the repayment becomes a challenge. So we have the regulations that are going through public participation as we speak, stipulate that the money will be paid directly to the farmer after knowing the quantities of coffee the farmer has delivered. So KPCU will sign contracts, is signing contractual agreements with the millers. KPCU itself is a miller. So we are encouraging farmers, coffee farmers, to deliver their coffee to KPCU mills to make it easier to be paid this money. The KPCU has one of the biggest mills in Dandora, which I went to inspect the other day. It can process all the coffee in the country. It has the capacity to process all the coffee that is grown in the country. So we are asking farmers, deliver your coffee there. Then that coffee will be the collateral against which you are paid this money. However, even if you choose to deliver elsewhere, as long as the miller who takes your coffee, sign contract with KPCU, undertaking to deduct that money from your sale, the sale of the coffee, back to KPCU, then we have no problem. We will be able to still pay the farmer directly his coffee. So that data is being gathered, the data of the farmers, because even if before we wait for the coffee that is being delivered, if we can get the previous data, we can estimate quickly how much coffee which farmer delivers. That information is being, remember ICT when it was also doing crop census. Remember, it was being done. Part of the reason was to get this information. So that information is being fed into this new system. It's being gathered to be fed into this new system. Then we are able to pay the farmer. The farmer will be paid 40% of the value of the coffee, assessing the value from the prevailing market prices at the coffee auction, Nairobi coffee auction, or 20 shillings per kilo. That's what will be per kilo of cherry, not processed coffee. It's the cherry itself. So per kilo you get 20 shillings. So those are the modalities, and banks will also give an undertaking. Once the coffee is sold, the first charge on the money is repaying that money to KPC, new KPC. So because it's a revolving loan fund that we want to run, and it is only 3% interest. We want to avoid a situation where what is happening with a lot of coffee farmers is that millers enter into agreement with banks. Banks charge up to even 12% interest. Then they delay the repayment so that the period of interest continues. It increases. You know, you sell the coffee, but you don't pay the farmer immediately because you want to make more money from the farmer. That's how farmers are being fleeced in this country, and those are the things we want to control.
So how will the cooperative societies be able to recover the cost of the cost of their operationalization? Operations, yeah.
What do you mean?
How will they be able to recover the cost? Because you will be paying farmers directly.
We are paying farmers a percentage. That's why we are not paying them everything. What we are paying, that's why we are not paying everything. We don't want to be involved in the recoveries of cooperatives, because part of the problem is also cooperatives take the coffee from the farmer. They don't determine how much they use the farmer's coffee to borrow.